Madam President.
Senator from Kansas.
Madam President, thank you. This week, we remember, and I join my colleagues here on the Senate floor to do so publicly, we remember our law enforcement who have died in the line of duty. This week, every year, we pay tribute to those who serve in the uniform, and as a result of that service, come to a tragic death. I offer my condolences to the people of North Carolina, the families of the officers just described by the senator from North Carolina. In my role as a senator, I have chaired and have been the vice chair of the Appropriations Subcommittee that funds our national law enforcement officers, the DEA, the ATF, the FBI, the U.S. Marshals, a deputy U.S. Marshal killed in North Carolina just recently. It's an honor, a privilege to be able to be associated with those who are willing to sacrifice so much for the benefit of all of us, and particularly those in the community in which they live. We honor that sacrifice, that dedication, that service to our communities. We know police officers put their lives at risk. Their families know they put their lives at risk every day, protect our communities and our country. While this week is a time to remember those who have passed, it's also important for us to express gratitude to those who currently serve. During this week, we will memorialize 282 individual law enforcement officers, 282 heroes who during the last year gave their lives serving their community. One of those heroes was Kansas officer Jonah Oswald. August of last year, Officer Oswald was fatally shot while responding to another department, a neighboring law enforcement's request for help. Officer Oswald was just 29 years old, husband, father to two young boys. He had served for 4 years in the Fairway, Kansas Police Department. Fairway, a small suburb of Kansas City, population 1,170. He knew the importance of serving his community. He knew his community. This morning, Ben Overish spoke at the National Police Week Memorial Ceremony in Kansas, and he said this about Officer Oswald. Jonah understood the danger before him, and without hesitation, he showed up over and over again to meet it. Jonah policed with an enthusiasm that was hard to match. He was always vigilant. He was always eager for opportunities to help citizens of Kansas and officers alike. He was employed by Fairway, but the citizens of Prairie Village, Mission Hills, Westwood, Roland Park, Mission, and others around us were helped by Jonah more than they will ever know. He was not so enthusiastic out of vanity or one of glory or aggression. He believed in service and in the nobility of the profession. He believed in right and wrong. He was filled with the hope that good will triumph over evil. We must remember not only his sacrifice, but his example daily. Words spoken this morning in Topeka. Thank you, Officer Overish, for those remarks, and thank you to Officer Oswald for his service. All too often, we forget about the many important roles that our law enforcement officials have within our communities. This extends beyond relationship between police officers and individual citizens. It's about relationships between law enforcement and key institutions in our communities, our churches, our hospitals, our schools, and our businesses. During this National Police Week and throughout the year, we must remember that law enforcement needs our support, and not just during tough times. It's our duty. Really, we have the opportunity to be grateful, but it's our duty as citizens, as lawmakers, as members of the Senate, to support our officers, to provide them with resources and acknowledge the incredible sacrifice that's made every day. Now more than ever, it takes a special kind of person to be a law enforcement officer. Whether sheriff's deputies or detectives, local police, tribal police, highway patrol officers, beat cops, federal agents, the Kansas Bureau of Investigation, we hold up those who wear the badge. We honor them today, as we should every day. To them, we say our respect is for you, for the ordinary examples of how you see America at its best. May God bless our law enforcement and their families. May they be safe from harm as they defend and protect the communities in which they serve and live. Madam President, I yield the floor.